Good evening, everyone, and welcome to AOH Primetime. Tonight, I want to dedicate the show to the nonprofit we have created called Akron Community Studios. For those who have been following what we are building here at WAOH Television, you've probably noticed we have really dedicated a lot of our airtime, a lot of our interviews and talk shows and time we have during the broadcast day to Akron area nonprofits and organizations here in Akron doing really great things for the community. So what we have decided, because we have so many college students and community activists and citizen journalists and just interested citizens who have stepped forward that said, I want to be a part of WAOH, we like what you're doing, how can we help? We have formed a nonprofit called Akron Community Studios. And what we intend to do is use this nonprofit to assist students and those who want to learn media production, podcast, broadcasting, camera work, editing, telling a story through media, and assist all of them using the resources we have in a studio that we are dedicating to this program that will be open to all. There will be easy access to technology and equipment and learning and inspiration, coaching and mentoring. And this is going to be dedicated especially to students who want to learn media, who may have come from a school district that did not have a media program, or just generally might be from a background that is financially disadvantaged, where the household they grew up in did not have cameras, computers, or technology. And unfortunately, this can be the case way too often, where there are students coming into the universities or coming into high schools even, who would like to embrace journalism and photography and video production, and the access to technology and the tools and the training are just not there. So again, we have formed what we call Akron Community Studios. It is a nonprofit. It is set up. It is registered with the IRS. Our 501c3 status was approved and properly registered with the state of Ohio. And as of right now, we have a GoFundMe account set up, and we're super excited to get this going. And what's the benefit for Akron? The benefit is we're going to have a structured program with a creative space where we can give students access to the tools and technology to create content that elevates Akron. So other area nonprofits and organizations doing great things, and citizen journalists and concerned citizens that want to make a podcast or a video can come to this studio and be able to work with students and use the facilities and resources available to them. It will be open to all. And the benefit is the content from this program, the best of what's produced in this studio, will be aired on WAOH television right here. WAOH will be donating airtime, entire 1-hour blocks of time, to what the individuals and students and citizen journalists and participants in Akron Community Studios have created, so that the content can be seen and hopefully make a difference in our community. There is, like I said, a GoFundMe, and of course, you can see the information right here. You can just Google GoFundMe Akron Community Studios. What I would like to do is play a video that we have put together, and this video features former interns. Because our production operations and the TV station project has had so many interns over the years, we have an alumni. And several years ago, we captured clips from participants in our programs. Some of the folks in this video speaking weren't necessarily formal interns. Some people just wanted to be a part of the programs we were doing at that time. So we went deep into the archives and pulled together some of the interview sound bites and comments from 2015 even, is how far this goes back. And this video features, like I said, several broadcast professionals and advertising agency professionals now working in the industry. And we captured these clips, some again going back to 2015, and some of these folks were interns, some were just involved in the program. And it's wonderful to dig into the archives and hear what they said at that time, which is still true today, about how important it is for students in media to do an internship. Take a look.
An internship experience is so important because you're taking what you learn in the classroom through your notes and what your teachers have told you, and you're putting it to use.
You get real-world experience that you don't necessarily get in a classroom setting, that you don't necessarily get at a different internship.
Like having an internship and actually going and doing what you want to do in the real world, that's going to help you get your career. You show them why you're the best. When you have the experience, use it.
It's all about the hands-on experience. I mean, you can learn a lot in the classroom, but if you're not actually doing it, then sometimes, I mean, for some people, you're not actually learning it.
I encourage everybody in this field to definitely do an internship, especially because, well, not only do you need the credits to graduate, it looks really good on a resume. You need some sort of experience to be able to get a job in this field. And it's just really good to have that underneath your belt and be more comfortable when you start your actual career.
You're actually working with the equipment, you're working with other people that have similar interests in the field, and you're going to take all that knowledge and eventually go into the workplace with it and hopefully have above and beyond experience as your fellow peers coming into the workplace.
I actually was able to go out in the community, take video, speak to people, put a story together. I mean, that's what my job's all about. So being able to do that in my internship and then taking it to my first job, that's really what created where I am right now.
Looking back, an internship really benefited me because, well, I got a job with it. I actually am still working at the company I interned for right out of college.
I was actually engaging with the community leaders of Akron. I was engaging with clients, and I felt like a professional.
I got to find my own news stories, actually go on the air, edit my own pieces together.
You're working with professionals and you're getting your hands on the video cameras, the editing software, and you're actually putting that to use at your internship, and that's going to take you to your next job.
What we want to talk about now is Akron Community Studios and what it will actually be providing. One of the most important things, really the foundation of the service offerings that can benefit students and citizens and those who want to be a part of this program, it would be photography and media workshops. And you don't have to be a student. This program will be open to all. So even if you're a citizen journalist, or even if you're a retiree and you just want to learn advanced photography skills, maybe you want to come in and coach or teach or mentor, all are welcome. And the crux of it is, the real foundation of it will be the photography and media workshops that we're planning on doing. We're also planning on offering, as part of this, as a core value of this, a core principle here would be to have a meaningful internship experience. There are a lot of internships out there that are within the college bubble or within the high school program, and these things are wonderful. But what this internship provides is the ability to network with industry professionals at a very different level, where folks that are coming in to teach, to mentor, are from all over the media industry, from all over Northeast Ohio. As you can imagine, I will be digging deep into my Rolodex to invite those who I admire, those in the industry that I know are just the experts on any number of topics, and have them come in and conduct workshops to provide speaking engagements that the interns that work with us in this Akron Community Studios venture can have a very meaningful experience and come away, hopefully, in a much better position to find employment or be ready to work in media. We want to provide educational experiences, and this is very important at the high school level. We want to make sure that before somebody picks video production or photography, journalism as their major, that they understand what the industry really is. So as part of this internship, we will provide a meaningful experience that involves being in a radio station, being at a TV station, being involved in a video production company. There's a number of places within our network where students could go to have exposure to the actual industry workplace And here's the problem. In many cases, because of liability reasons or employers that just don't have the resources to have an internship program, many industry places of employment are not accessible to students or interns or those who might want to just come in and take a tour and take a look. And so the problem becomes, if you do your internship your senior year of college, and this is the first time you are seeing the inside of a radio station or a television station or a video production company or an ad agency or what have you, this is a very serious problem. Because in order to really be 100% sure before you spend $60,000, $80,000 or more on a college degree in that field, it's a very good idea to have an internship or some sort of shadowing or apprenticeship or learning experience at the workplace that is similar to the kind of place you might be working if you had a degree in media. This is very, very important. And again, too many college seniors are doing their internship that is required by the college at the end of their senior year as the last thing they do. And again, in many cases, this is the first time they see the inside of a media operation. And I believe that this is a problem, and it would be beneficial for students to have a media experience in some sort of studio in a professional operation, coached by mentors that are in the business early in their college career, maybe even late in their high school career, before they make a decision to spend a lot of money on a degree in this field. We need to provide a creative space where students who want to learn can take on their own projects and have access to the equipment and the studio and the time to edit at all hours. Many times, those of us who are in media know what involves putting a project together. Editing can go on into the evening. It can go on a Saturday morning. Video editing could happen and needs to happen at a time and place that matches your schedule. So a lot of young professionals or people who are working in the community, or maybe even somebody that's a retiree that wants to come in and produce content, we all have different schedules and different demands on our time. And if we were just open from 8 to 5, and you had to have some sort of key to access or something like that, and you couldn't be in after 6 or 7, this could be a problem or could, again, be a hindrance to that learning that we need to be able to provide. So we want to have a creative space that is open, so somebody working during the day that wants to do an evening workshop, or they want to use the editing equipment into the evening to put a piece together, that they can have access at times that match their schedule. We also need to be able to make sure that we are providing a space for college students who have graduated to be able to continue to stay engaged in the media production process after graduating. This is a problem. If a student finishes school, they do their internship, they graduate, but then they can't find that entry-level job, that first job in media. They just can't break in somewhere, but they want to stick with it. They have a passion, they have the drive. This space, this creative space, Akron Community Studios, is a place where someone with the passion and the drive can use the equipment and the editing equipment, the computers, the technology, the guidance provided by mentors and other people that are involved in the program to produce videos and content that is beneficial for Akron area organizations. And this is an incredible thing to have on your resume. It shows potential employers that even on your own time, you are willing to stay in the media business and do things to advance your skill set. And very important, make sure you don't lose what you've learned in college. A lot of students will graduate and then enter a field at an entry-level job where they are not working in media, even though they have a degree in media and they know a lot, but they lose the skills. You sometimes forget things that you've learned if you don't do them for 6 months or a year. So another very important part of this program would be to allow students to continue to produce content, and we would steer them to other Akron area nonprofits or steer them to the idea of producing stories that are the good stories of Akron, good news, people doing really great things for our community. And that would be the point of having them in the studio. And what I want to share now is very important, the idea that not all media students had access to technology when they were younger. And one huge issue is that not every household has a computer that's capable of running Adobe Photoshop or Adobe Premiere or other video editing programs that many young people got into in grade school or in high school and fell in love with media and video production by learning on their own at home. There's a number of very successful graphic designers and video editors that I know and that have the same story, that they got into this business, they fell in love with it because the family had a computer and they could use Photoshop or use After Effects, make graphics, and download and run the Adobe collection of software or other programs that are for the creative field. And if you don't have access to this technology as a young person, your household, if you don't have a camcorder at home, and of course a lot of folks now, of course, obviously we all have phones that can shoot video. But the idea that how do you create the post-production, the editing, tell the story, and do all the things you need to do to make a finished video if you don't have a computer. And this is a huge problem. I'll give you the example. One of my, this is a shot from me at age 14, let's say 1987, 88, somewhere in there. And of course, we had a camcorder, and I commandeered it all the time. I took over the home movie camera, and I was, of course, the videographer in the family. And I shot a lot of home movies. We made some short films on VHS. And all of my friends over the summer, we'd get together, we'd made movies. And it was fun. And later in life, you realize not every young person had access to this kind of, certainly not in the 80s maybe, but how important it is that if someone has an interest in media or journalism, photography, storytelling, all of it, that we provide a space. So Akron Community Studios is what we have as our solution. It is a nonprofit. We have a GoFundMe set up. We want to run America's best internship program, but we also want to have an open creative space available for the entire community. All of Akron would be welcome to come in, use this studio. You need to go through some training on how the equipment works. That's what it's about, is about teaching so that all of us, citizen journalists, those passionate about Akron, those who want to call attention to issues, those who want to create really great stories can do so. And this is going to be a huge part of WAOH. It's a huge part of our entire media operation to support students, to support learning. And what if the ultimate success for us would be, what if there's a student who might not have had money for a lot of training, who might not have been otherwise able to get into this business because of the barriers, because of the financial barriers, because of the cost of technology, and the financial barriers to education that exist right now. What if someone from a financially disadvantaged background could get into our industry, explore our industry, and fall in love with this business and be as passionate about it as we are because this program existed? We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more about Akron Community Studios and what we would like to do right after this. Stay with us. Welcome back to AOH Primetime. Tonight we are dedicating the entire show to our nonprofit we have created called Akron Community Studios. And of course, WAOH is dedicated to Akron. We are building Akron's community information channel. But in the meantime, and as we build, we have discovered a problem, a challenge, something that we would like to address with this nonprofit. And that is many of our student interns coming to the senior year of college, coming out of college, and not being able to find work, maybe not being as prepared as they should be, through no fault of their own, through no fault of the college. It's just the way the system works, and it's a very competitive field like any, and there are those who are very passionate about media, but maybe because of a financial situation at home, maybe where they didn't have access to the technology as a young person, the way a lot of young media professionals did, maybe their high school didn't have a media program. And so when you come into college and you're in class with a bunch of students coming from a high school that had an incredible media program, an incredibly well-funded media program, you're at a huge disadvantage. And so the idea is, take a look at this picture. One of my favorite pictures. I always go back to this. I had a great time at Stowe High School here in the late 80s, early 90s, my high school career. And in the 1991-92 era, we were really in the height of producing this high school TV show called Stowe Student News. The school had cameras. The school had a journalism class. Stowe High School had photography. We had all these resources. And I can remember there were times when we said, well, we need another VCR. And Mr. Morgan, the principal, I went to him and said, hey, we know this media program needs 1 or 2 more cameras. And he said, we have a fund, and I can make that happen. And I thought, oh my gosh, how blessed I am. Looking back, I didn't think of it at the time, that Stowe High School had the resources to provide some media equipment for this group of students putting together this weekly high school TV show. And what a blast. And then, later in life you realize not every school district has the resources, the money to build a media program to offer video production, television production, photography, journalism, all of these things. And so it's important to me that we fund these programs. It's important to me that if somebody wants to explore this field, media, television production, journalism, all of it, that we find a way to support. So our way to support is Akron Community Studios. And so we've established this nonprofit, and we have this GoFundMe set up. We are hoping the community will support this. I'm going to tell you another story, and it involves the original WAOH television, which started out in Kent as part of WNIR radio. The CAT TV 29, when it started in the late 80s, it was originally WAI TV 29. And when I graduated from Stowe High School in 1992, I went out there and interned at WNIR Radio, and I also at the same time worked for WAI TV 29, running camera for all of the live talk shows. And they were at a set similar to this and cameras, and I had a blast. And I love Akron, it's my hometown. I'm planning on, I want to stay in my hometown, work in radio and television. I was having an absolute blast. And this video clip I'm going to show you now is cringeworthy. There was a Sunday morning talk show hosted by a really great fella, the Reverend Elvin H. Brown. And I ran camera for his show and helped with all the technical, and I think I was getting paid $3.85 an hour. But I convinced him to let me produce segments out in the field and then come on his show and introduce my segments and air them. And he thought it was a great idea and allowed me to take up time on his show to play feature stories and different interview segments that I did out in the community, which I did on my own time because I really wanted to do these stories. I really wanted to be on television. So here I am at age 18 at the original WAOH television, and it's cringeworthy, but I'm going to play just a short clip. Here it is.
Dan Murphy. Yeah. And we're happy to have you with us, and you have some things that you want to talk about, and I want you to feel free to talk. Go right ahead.
Well, I put together this report for your show.
Okay.
Basically, it deals with the organizations in Akron that help the homeless out. Most of them don't only help out during the holiday season, but these are groups that have been working all year round.
Good.
We're going to start the segment with the largest help group in Akron. That would be the Good Samaritan Hunger Center.
All right.
They feed 185 meals per day on average, and they really do a lot to help out the homeless in the Akron area.
So there it is, me at age 18 at the original WAOH television, attempting to be a broadcaster. And when I watch that, it reminds me that at that time, even back then, more than 30 years ago, I was very passionate about local television, very passionate about using media to advance the causes, to put the spotlight on the nonprofits, to do something meaningful for my hometown. And I still, to this day, love this idea. that local television exists to serve the community. And that those of us here are really, these are elected positions, being in broadcast television or being responsible for being in charge of the local media operation. These are elected positions, and we're elected by you, the viewer. And you do so by supporting us on social media, by watching, and we can see the analytics, and we can see, and we're very thankful that Akron is supporting WAOH television. And with that, we would like to support those who are looking at our industry, looking at this operation, looking at the idea that Akron could have its own local television station, and people who want to get involved. And a for-profit business can't really have volunteers. And it's difficult at times for a for-profit enterprise to have student interns, and the lawyers and all this, so the HR folks will tell you liability reasons, the security issues with having everything locked at a certain time and the operation shut down, and how can you do an internship and fit it into your schedule, and how can you learn if there's these barriers or limited windows. So what we're doing is setting up a nonprofit, Akron Community Studios, online at akroncommunitystudios.org, and the idea is we could have volunteers, citizen journalists, those who have come into this operation and just want to support. They want to create great content. They want to help tell stories all about the good things happening in Akron. And what we're doing is building a studio, setting up a podcast area. Mosier Media has donated all the old computers. Jumpstart Video has kicked in some cameras. There is an entire studio dedicated to the idea of Akron Community Studios as a nonprofit, open to all, with access at an unprecedented level, access to technology and training and computers and cameras, so that anyone in our area, anyone in Akron or Summit County in our viewing area that would like to be involved and just come in and learn, create content, can do so. And we're asking the community to fund, to help support, to go to GoFundMe. Just Google GoFundMe Akron Community Studios. It'll come right up. It's all set up. We're super excited to get this off the ground and really excited to see what the results could be, because our measure of success will be when there's really great content coming out that makes a difference for small organizations that are doing great things, for nonprofits, for community activists. It provides a platform to give people a voice, to elevate the voices in Akron that might not always get attention. Not everyone gets access to professional equipment and professional training. Again, a lot of these workspaces are just not accessible and not open, and that's a huge problem for those who want to learn in this business. So what I want to talk about now is where the money is going to go that we are raising through the GoFundMe. And when somebody makes a contribution to Akron Community Studios, whether they do so through our website, through the GoFundMe, however you want to do it, what we want to do is make sure that we are able to pay the rent at this facility that is dedicated to the students. In other words, we're going to have a space that's separate from WAOH television. This space that we have set up is separate from all the other video production and broadcast entities that come together to build and support WAOH television. So this is an area that is completely dedicated to students and citizen journalists and those who want to learn, for the photography workshops all the way through video production in the studio and editing, perhaps even after hours or on weekends. This is a community space where those who have done the training, done all of the workshops, that have the access, that have gone through all the proper steps to be able to have access to the studio, we want to open it up. And the way to do that is to be able to have a separate space, and that money raised goes to pay for that space. There's also equipment maintenance. Certainly we are taking donations of old cameras, old computers, we're putting it all together. There's some IT costs and equipment repair costs, and much of that we can do ourselves. But there's some things, somebody provides us a good camera, computer, sometimes there's some repairs that we can't do and need to send out, but we want to make those cameras and those computers available for citizen use and student use. Very important to learn, to get your hands on the gear, the hands-on learning it on your own with the guidance of professionals and mentors and coaches all around you. But you really learn when you take the camera gear and maybe you go out and you screw something up and you got to go back and do it again. This is where we learn. Software subscriptions. We are an Adobe shop in every part of our content creation area, in the production studios, at the broadcast operations, here at WAOH, throughout the entire enterprise. We are on the Adobe Creative Suite. And the Adobe Creative Suite, your Premiere video editing, your Photoshop, Lightroom, InDesign for graphic design and layout and all of that, and certainly advanced motion graphics using After Effects, that would be a heck of a workshop and a heck of a thing to teach, a very unique sort of niche kind of thing. But to start, we're teaching video editing in Adobe Premiere. And the reason being is that most of the industry is on Adobe Premiere. And some might argue, there's a DaVinci Resolve, there's a number of other video editing programs, but I really truly believe that the Adobe Premiere video editing software has a good portion of the market share. And so what that means is employability. So if we have a young person come in and they haven't really had a lot of experience in editing and they take an intro to editing class and do it in Adobe Premiere, it is possible. They really refine their skills. They really dedicate their own personal time in the studio to learning and editing and storytelling. Perhaps they could have a better chance of getting the job. Certainly, the college degree has tremendous value. Certainly, the high schools that have media programs are producing graduates that have incredible skills. And there's a phenomenon, of course, in the business where some of the best high school media graduates, those who went to either the vocational programs, the joint vocational schools that have a video production class and a media program, or those that are programs that are inside a high school and the students do this in their senior year, some of those graduates have such incredible talent and such an incredible skill set that they rival or could compete with college graduates with a media degree. And the best combination is somebody that did video in high school. That as a young person, they embraced it and they spent their own time learning, and then they got a college degree and they have the college degree and all of that experience. And now you're talking about 6 or 8 years of their life dedicated to this learning. And that's actually the best possible combination. But what we hope to fill out in this area is allowing this creative space, this nonprofit organization, to be able to accommodate any skill set, meet people where they are, and help them reach their goals. The most important thing in all of this is learning and job placement. And it's very possible someone could come out of high school and be close to being employable in the industry in entry-level broadcast and media positions. It's very possible someone could come out of college and have all the skill set in place, but maybe they didn't do the networking. Maybe they just really were immersed in the college experience and they didn't build their LinkedIn, they didn't build their professional network. That's what this is about. So I'm in the cost section, but I'm going on a lot about placement because it's so important. And with that, and in terms of networking, you need to think about the idea that some of our instructors would need to be paid. And I certainly have a very deep Rolodex in 30 plus years in media and video production here in Northeast Ohio. That I know a lot of really talented people. Then the people that I admire and look up to and I just think are spectacular are the ones that I would call and say, hey, we have a group of students here in my workshop, and would you come in and be a guest speaker? And that's something that somebody might come in and do for me as a personal favor, and so many people, almost everyone I know in media, would love the opportunity to teach, mentor, coach, and come in and be a part. But if you're going to ask somebody to teach a 6-week course, or they're going to come in 2 nights a week for a month, we would like to be able to pay those instructors. And so we want to do this in this nonprofit, is raise money so that those who don't have the ability to pay a small fee to be in a workshop, that we could actually fund their learning. And that really is the key to it, that those who might be from a financially disadvantaged background, there are many students going to school and working 2 jobs, and they need advanced training. They need the networking that comes from an internship program like this, but they can barely afford it. And they might actually have to, maybe cut back on a job to do an internship. and all of those things. So the idea is they're certainly not going to be in a position to pay for these workshops. So what we want to do is, for those who need it, be able to offer free workshops and free training, free coaching and learning for those who need it. And this is a great way to be able to level the playing field. Have those in our industry come in and help those who are exploring careers in our industry. And all of us who love this business want to do this work. We just need a place to do it. So go to Google Akron Community Studios GoFundMe. I think you could even type in GoFundMe and then Akron Community Studios. I think Google will figure it out either way. It'll take you right to our GoFundMe. We're going to leave you tonight with another play of our video featuring students and interns and broadcast professionals recorded a couple years ago as they were embarking on a career. And we're so glad to have this video, and I'm so glad that everyone that was in this video turned out to have successful careers. I'm going to tell you right now, had very little to do with us or our internship. Those in this video, they had the drive, they had the passion. The internship is required by most of the colleges, and most of them knew an internship is a great idea. So we are not going to take credit for their success, but these are people that we admire, and we're glad that they, back in the day, provided these interview clips about how important an internship is. So we'll leave you with another replay of this video. Thanks for watching, and have a good night.
An internship experience is so important because you're taking what you learn in the classroom through your notes and what your teachers have told you, and you're putting it to use.
You get real-world experience that you don't necessarily get in a classroom setting, that you don't necessarily get at a different internship.
Like having an internship and actually going and doing what you want to do in the real world, that's going to help you get your career. You show them why you're the best. When you have the experience, use it.
It's all about the hands-on experience. I mean, you can learn a lot in the classroom, but if you're not actually doing it, then sometimes, I mean, for some people, you're not actually learning it.
I encourage everybody in this field to definitely do an internship, especially because, well, not only do you need the credits to graduate, it looks really good on a resume. You need some sort of experience to be able to get a job in this field. And it's just really good to have that underneath your belt and be more comfortable when you start your actual career.
You're actually working with the equipment, you're working with other people that have similar interests in the field, and you're going to take all that knowledge and eventually go into the workplace with it and hopefully have above and beyond experience as your fellow peers coming into the workplace.
I actually was able to go out in the community, take video, speak to people, put a story together. I mean, that's what my job's all about. So being able to do that in my internship and then taking it to my first job, that's really what created where I am right now.
Looking back, an internship really benefited me because, well, I got a job with it. I actually am still working at the company I interned for right out of college.
I was actually engaging with the community leaders of Akron. I was engaging with clients, and I felt like a professional.
I got to find my own news stories, actually go on the air, edit my own pieces together.
You're working with professionals and you're getting your hands on the video cameras, the editing software, and you're actually putting that to use at your internship, and that's going to take you to your next job.